And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We just wrapped up Cyril versus Maru in an intense ZVT, and now we are back with a PvP instead. And the music is beautiful. The players as well. ShoWTimE clearly ready. It feels like he just had a haircut. He's looking suave, Bob. He's looking suave. And likewise, MaxPax also looking very powerful today as well, as he usually does. Recently shaved for the camera. Love to see it. As we are getting ready for this PvP, you can see the vetoes on the screen. Altitude and Neo Humanity were vetoed by ShoWTimE, Gressvan, and Royal Blood from MaxPax. This is a best of 3 as a reminder. Oh boy. And game 1 will be taking place on Babylon. Babylon is upon us. We're also making sure we have all of the lovely casters joining us as well. And hopefully no one does get left out. And if I'm not mistaken, Kuro, I think everyone's in. Oh, let's go. I was just double checking the lobby. But we are all in. We're diving into game number 1. Oh boy. And an intense PvP, the best PvP that Europe has to offer. Let's go. You know, at a certain point, I'm going to have to, like, pull the music here from WTL and play it when I'm streaming, when I'm laddering. I like it. It's fun. It's beautiful. It's very Osu, very Osu. As we are going to be loading in. And very curious to see how this will play out, how the players will open up. We were looking at the stats earlier. We were looking at the history between the players. And here we have one of the best Protoss in all of Europa. We have the German Protoss representing big esports. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Danish Protoss player, the best Protoss in all of Europe, representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. Now, what is interesting is that the first 2 games are going to be taking place on maps that do have ramps coming into the naturals, so we're not going to have any kind of weird shenanigans where MaxPax is going for a gate expand on the low ground and kind of baiting his opponent in. We've seen that many, many times on Royal Blood, but that has been vetoed this series, so we won't be seeing that here, as both players are going for gate expands. Very economic openers here from our players. For those wondering, the reason why we see this is because we do have a ramp coming into the natural, so we do have that point of elevation. We have the high ground added defender's advantage. It does mean you can be more greedy, more economic on a map like Babylon, and both players are going to be looking to expand. Likewise, both players also are doing the best job they can to delay that expansion with these probes, as probes are in position to just be a bit of a nuisance to disrupt the build. Meanwhile, both players are taking all of their gases, as to be expected. If there is too much of a delay, then we could see either one of these players go for a Stargate first instead of that Nexus, but we'll see. We shall see. For the time being, they're also making sure that the second pylon is in the main base so that there is no proxy out on the map. And as we can see, and as the players can see, that both pylons are in their respective bases. They go back to blocking. Both players are forced to make the Zealots as well to shut down those gateways. And there it is, Stargate from both MaxPax and ShoWTimE. So it feels like a lot of respect is being shown. Both players have identified that, look, we're not going to be able to expand. Neither player even attempts to throw down a pylon. And yeah, mirrored build so far. Mirrored reactions. Mirrored everything. They are keeping up with each other. We have the Nexus thrown down here for MaxPax. Likewise, it's thrown down for ShoWTimE as well. And now we enter a really interesting phase here of this PvP. Both players see the Stargates, which means both players have options to go for Phoenixes, because they know that the other person may go for Oracles. And there it is. Oh, it's been a while. We have Phoenix Wars. again, typically we would be seeing oracles, but because they saw each other go for stargates, then they know that if one player goes for the oracle and the other player goes for the phoenix, then the phoenix player will just be ahead. So we have mass phoenix production on the way across the map, and Adept does shade into the main base of ShoWTimE. Does get 2 probes. A good amount of damage is done. A good start for MaxPax as he does take a worker lead. Meanwhile, Phoenixes have hit the field, and boy, both players have to be very careful with their control. Things can very quickly snowball out of control if someone does lose a Phoenix a little bit haphazardly. And the question becomes, do we double down? The answer is we do! Second Stargate in the main of ShoWTimE. Second Stargate in the main of MaxPax. Everyone, we're back to 2020. It's been a while. It has been a while since I've seen a straight up PvP with Phoenix versus Phoenix. It's been a hot minute. I like to think that CranKy's like, nope. I'm stepping out of this one, Poppy. We've triggered some PTSD. Crank, of course, he was a Protoss pro player back in the day, and I'm sure he's bared witness to his own share of PvPs. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing him come back later on, but for now, he's gonna be taking a step back instead. We should be seeing a fleet beacon momentarily to get into Phoenix range, to get into Anion Pulse Crystals. And there's so much pressure on both players to just mass nothing but Phoenixes. It's dangerous to be the aggressor as well, because we're going to have shield batteries back at home. We should eventually have shield batteries defensively. And of course, that will sway things in the defending player's favor. As, yeah, for now, we have 6 Phoenixes for ShoWTimE. We have 7 apiece for ShoWTimE and MaxPax. No one has gone for the fleet beacon yet. Again, it is very gas intensive, and if you make a fleet beacon too early, then you basically miss a Phoenix. You will miss a Phoenix, so you want to make sure that you do not interrupt your Phoenix production. You need to constantly be making a Phoenix at all times. Ooh, and MaxPax is setting up a proxy location. I love the idea of MaxPax throwing down shield batteries in the center of the map. I don't know if that's what he's going to do, but I love the idea as he's leapfrogging forward here with his pylons. They are revealed. Pylons all over the place. Zealous is going to be going down. Good pick up on the probe. Likewise, we have an Adept across the map, making sure that the third base is not taken. And there it is, Fleet Beacon first from ShoWTimE, which is huge. Anion Pulse Crystals, which is Phoenix range, is a massive upgrade. And if ShoWTimE is able to leverage a 1 range lead, then he can just overwhelm and overpower MaxPax. It's going to be a big window. A big timing. There it is. Phoenix range is in production. MaxPax late with his own Fleet Beacon. Oh, but a good start here from MaxPax. We are trading Phoenix for Phoenix. MaxPax, he takes a massive lead early on. There is no shield battery, and it looks like that's it. That's game. GG gets called, and MaxPax will take game number 1. All it takes is one wrong move. One wrong move, one slip up, and things escalate very quickly out of control. ShoWTimE losing 1 too many Phoenixes, and that was it. GG. GG, well played. And now we're getting ready for our next game. The next lobby has been produced. Oh boy, it was on a knife's edge. Unfortunately, ShoWTimE getting a little bit too adventurous with his army, was working towards a faster Phoenix range, but he couldn't quite get into it in time. Couldn't quite pull it off. Oh, it looks like we are going to have to remake the lobby, though. As game number 2 is going to be taking place on Dragon Scales. Is this a Korean tournament? It is organized by WTL, by SC Boy, which is a Chinese tournament, I guess, a Chinese organizer. They do a lot here for the scene. They do a lot for StarCraft, and the event itself is open, or did have qualifiers, did have invites, players from all around the world, from North America, from Europe, from South Korea as well. pretty big. Meanwhile, a shout out to Eva. A massive shout out to Eva in the chat. Hope you had a great stream. I was lurking in your chat and I was going to say something, but I had to cast. Este Eva. Funada Eva in the chat. He was laddering Terran. He was playing Terran. God damn it. Shaking my head. But I hope you had a great stream nonetheless. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to day 1 of the Masters Coliseum number 6. Again, only day 1. Plenty of days ahead of us. Plenty of matches ahead of us as well. We just wrapped up with Serral versus Maru, and now we're mid-series here in MaxPax versus ShoWTimE. Beautiful. Exclamation mark B in the chat. I believe you will get a link to the. There you go. Get a link to the Wikipedia page and to the bracket itself. This event is going to be going on for the next 2 weeks, every single day for the next 2 weeks. Plenty of StarCraft. And here we go. Game 2 taking place on a Dragon Scales. And hopefully ShoWTimE not too disturbed. So far, pretty stoic on the cameras. Like he's he's looking unfazed. Just making sure his glasses are on point as we load into game number 2. And I don't expect this game to really have the same outcome or even have the same start. And hopefully this time Crank sticks around. Este Crank. And here we go. Again, what's important is that because this is a round robin group stage format, there are plenty of games, which means you can afford to stumble a couple of times here and still recover and make it out of the group. But here he is spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Dragon Scales. We have the German Protoss player representing big esports. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent currently leading the series 1-0, representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. Here we go. Again, a pretty intense game number 1. It was all on a knife's edge. One wrong move at times is all it takes. And MaxPax was able to snowball out of control with his Phoenixes. But alas, now we are here. Now we are in our second game. Once again, because there's a ramp coming into the natural, we should be seeing gate expands. Gateways are thrown down. And if we do have enough of a delay on the natural base, we should be heading towards Stargates. And if that's where we go, then we could end up in Phoenix Wars again. I don't think ShoWTimE wants that to happen. In general, I don't think Protoss players enjoy Phoenix versus Phoenix too much. But we'll see. We'll see what the dynamic is going to be looking like. For now, both players taking both gases. They have been taken. Cybercore is on the way. And we are going to be working towards our first wave of Zealots. There it is. Zealots are in production. Again, the reason for this is so that the Zealot can focus down the pylon. If you decide to be greedy and skip the Zealot, then your natural base could be heavily delayed as a result. Just because of not just the pylon, but also the eventual cybercore as well that can be thrown down if the pylon finishes. And there we go. Once again, ShoWTimE going for the Stargate. MaxPax also going for the Stargate. And they know that. They scout each other. They see each other. We could see Phoenixes again. Oh boy. Like, I'll be honest, like, Phoenix Wars are something that I haven't seen. I think this was maybe the first time this year. I know that I casted Phoenix v Phoenix last year. But yeah, that may have been the first time in months, at least months. And we could see it again back to back. Could happen. Here we go. Phoenix on the way for ShoWTimE. Likewise, a Phoenix should be... No! Never mind. bold move here by MaxPax. Very bold move. He's going for an Oracle first. Very risky because, of course, if the Oracle gets hunted down by the Phoenix, then it's just going to be a net loss for MaxPax. So I'm not too sure how fond I am of this. As there we go, the Phoenix has arrived. We see MaxPax trying to be as aggressive as possible, is moving out here with his first Adept, looking to shade on in, and does get confirmation that Phoenixes are in production. The Adept is going to be hunted down. At the same time, we have the Oracle making a beeline for the main base. Shield battery not quite done. The Phoenixes, though, they are in position. They're going to focus down the Oracle. Before they get the kill on the Oracle, it looks like 3 probes will fall. Oh, do we save it? Oof. The Oracle is barely saved with 10 HP. And MaxPax behind this is getting back into Phoenixes, getting into a second Stargate. Now, what is scary for MaxPax is that he's behind. He is straight up behind in the Phoenix count. He has less Phoenixes than his opponent because of this Oracle. Speaking of, the Oracle is going to be hunted down. This hasn't been worth it. The Oracle, all it did was give MaxPax some breathing room, sure, but he only got 3 probes. He got 3 probes with that Oracle, and that's not quite worth it. As we see ShoWTimE with the Phoenix lead, it gets a couple of workers. MaxPax is going to try to cut him off. Oh, but he's going to miss him. As ShoWTimE comes back in and gets more workers. And he has that Phoenix lead. 4 Phoenixes to only the 3 of MaxPax, now getting a 4th. And ShoWTimE can escape. So again, it just goes to show how powerful 1 extra Phoenix can be. Just giving ShoWTimE so much more map control. Now, what's important is that, again, MaxPax, he's chronoing, trying to catch up, looking at the units tab. MaxPax has been able to even up the Phoenix count a little bit. He's been able to close that gap. But he has some catching up to do economically. What's also interesting is that this time, oh, still no shield battery here for ShoWTimE. There's a shield battery for MaxPax in his natural, so he has like a point here, a pretty powerful defensive advantage at his natural. ShoWTimE once again rushing into the Fleet Peak, and just like game 1, ShoWTimE will have faster Phoenix range. But we saw that in game 1, he wasn't able to actually use it. He wasn't able to finish it as the game escalated very quickly and ended before he could. This time, I do think that ShoWTimE does have the freedom here to get into this upgrade. Again, this time ShoWTimE has an economic lead. He also has a Phoenix lead, so I don't think he's in any danger of dying anytime soon. Not this time, but we'll see. There it is, Phoenix range in production. Pylons are being thrown down. MaxPax sharking around. Oh! A very dangerous moment for ShoWTimE. He just needs a little bit longer, a couple more seconds to get into that upgrade. And then he can kite MaxPax for days. MaxPax just now getting into his own fleet beacon. He's still behind in the workers. Now he's behind a base, behind in upgrades. Now, MaxPax can still take a better fight. If he stacks his army, and if he does start off killing one of the Phoenixes of ShoWTimE, then he can snowball this into a victory. As ShoWTimE is going across the map. Is going to be bypassing the army. Does catch a stray Phoenix. A good pickoff here from ShoWTimE as he's camping the production. MaxPax getting caught out of position. Yeah, he can't engage. He's down in the Phoenix count. And now Phoenix range has kicked in. He dives on the army. Range not really coming into play. Good stacking from MaxPax. But it's a numbers game at the end of the day, and it looks like ShoWTimE is coming out on top. He shuts down the army. Every Phoenix goes down. GG gets called, and ShoWTimE takes game number 2. GG. Are we going to get Phoenix versus Phoenix in game 3? GG, well played. Again, ShoWTimE having a great start to game number 2. From the onset, able to shut down the Oracle, get an economic lead, catch even some of the reinforcing Phoenixes, get into Phoenix range a lot faster as well. Just a better, things Everything going right for ShoWTimE there in that second game. MaxPax was behind from almost the beginning, taking a big risk, going for the Oracle. Didn't pay off. Did not pay off for MaxPax. And now we have an ace match. Oh. And whether or not we end up in Phoenix Wars depends on the map, as you can see on the screen, as the players are getting ready, as they are preparing themselves. Oh. Game number 3 is going to be on Ancient Cistern, which means we shouldn't get Phoenix versus Phoenix. That should not be happening. The reason why I say that, as we're getting into the lobby and we're getting into game, making sure Career gets in here. As we're getting into the lobby, the reason why I say that is because Ancient Cistern is a map that doesn't have a ramp coming into the natural, and that changes everything. That means that the likelihood of Rax expands on this map is much lower, and even if we are getting ready for this. And we are loading on in. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure we have every caster in the lobby. I don't I think we're good. Here we go, as we are loading into game 3. But again, because there's no ramp coming into the natural, that means that the likelihood of this being a gate expands into a Stargate is a lot lower. We should be seeing a very different kind of PvP. We have arrived. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the German Protoss player fighting back in that last game, tying up the series 1-1, representing big esports. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Danish Protoss player representing Storm Gaming, the best Protoss in all of Europe. It is MaxPax. But yeah, the lobbies are getting quite full, and there may be a situation where we will have to try and spread out a little bit and allow for some other players. Sorry for some room for some of the other casters. But if I'm not mistaken, we may have a working clean feed. So we do have a solution in case that were to happen. We do have a solution, thankfully, as I believe a new clean feed has been provided just in case. But as I was talking about gate expands, this is very MaxPax. He's going for a gate expand on a map without a ramp, and he's baiting ShoWTimE into an all-in. ShoWTimE is going for a 2-gate opener instead. No, sorry. That is not a second gateway. That is a Cybercore. Okay. I am curious here. ShoWTimE could go for an expansion as well on the low ground. We do have Zelt on the way. Okay, so we have mirrored builds once again, except MaxPax has a wall at the natural, and ShoWTimE will not. Very interesting here. Very interesting. So MaxPax will have a better defender's advantage. And there it is, Stargate. You know, I wanted to believe that we wouldn't get Phoenix Wars again. I wanted to believe that that would not happen. But it could happen 3 games in a row, just because of the dynamic of these players. There we go. Nexus is thrown down for both MaxPax and ShoWTimE. Now, looking at the vision, MaxPax, he has seen the Stargate. Likewise, ShoWTimE has also seen the Stargate of his opponent. We should be getting into Phoenixes. That should be the case. And there it is. Phoenix is on the way for ShoWTimE already. And Phoenix in production for MaxPax as well. And just like that, we're going to have a very similar game to what we've had in this series. Adept does shade into the main, but doesn't commit, doesn't get any economic damage done. Adept of ShoWTimE confirms as well the Phoenix production of his opponent. Both are fully aware of what's going on as they scout each other. And the Phoenix count is getting higher and higher. Oh boy. There's a second Stargate on the way from both players. We're committing to Mass Phoenix. Now, unlike the previous games, right now ShoWTimE doesn't have a big advantage, right? If you recall, in Game 2, MaxPax went for an Oracle first. That is not the case this time, so he won't be starting from behind. We are even when it comes to the worker count, when it comes to Phoenix count. I do think a lot of it is going to come down to whether or not ShoWTimE can get into fast Phoenix range again, or if MaxPax is able to dive on ShoWTimE before that can happen. But we'll see. Catching up. Stubborn Protoss players. I will say this is the correct way to play. If you're going for a gate expand and if you're forced into a Stargate, then the correct thing to do is to go for Phoenixes. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that neither player enjoys playing Phoenix Wars, but like this is kind of what you're forced to do in this situation. And as you can imagine, the players they have to make nothing but Phoenixes right now, because if they ever stop, they're just gonna die. Ooh, and here we go, MaxPax. He delays Phoenixes here for that faster fleet beacon. Oh. We'll see if he can get away with this fleet beacon here with faster Phoenix range. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE will have a higher Phoenix count overall. Shutting down the Adepts, shutting down the Zealots. They're locked into this eternal struggle of making nothing but Phoenixes. Yeah, they want to get out, Poppy. They want to get out. And yeah, because of that, so MaxPax, he's going to be down to Phoenix. As you can see in the units tab here, he is down to Phoenix, but he will have Phoenix range over his opponent. Likewise, ShoWTimE will be up a Phoenix, down Phoenix range. For now, though, they're just going to be expanding, taking their third bases. Catching up 3 games in a row, yes. Because of the openers, it is necessary. And here we go. The armies are looking to clash. MaxPax does stack up his forces. Phoenix range is about to kick in. It is done. He can go for it. And as long as he's able to stay out of range, yeah, we can see he just kites his opponent, takes down the Phoenix already. ShoWTimE has to back off. He has to respect this. Phoenix range about to kick in for ShoWTimE as well, but he's already down to Phoenix. Oh! There are no shield batteries to support him either. ShoWTimE has been cutting corners. And the upgrades have evened up. ShoWTimE still has a Phoenix lead, by the way. Don't know if this is gonna be the best fight here for MaxPax. Oof, losing a bit too much. ShoWTimE now with 11 Phoenixes compared to the 10 of MaxPax. There it is, shield battery finally on the way. That is gonna force MaxPax to back up. As both players are getting into their third bases. You have a third Stargate on the way. on the way for MaxPax and ShoWTimE as well. And yeah, we're just committed to Mass Phoenix. I don't think batteries help. I'm sure a battery, maybe not so much. I think overcharge will. I think overcharge will help, but it's at this. To be fair, at this stage, because there are so many Phoenixes, I think you can one-shot Phoenixes at a certain point. I don't know the numbers. I don't know the math on how many Phoenixes it takes to one-shot. To be fair. Meanwhile, pylons have been thrown down. Is it 18? I don't know why, but like 18 comes to mind. I think it's less though, maybe 15. Meanwhile, back at home, carrier production has commenced here from MaxPax. A bold move to stop Phoenix production. Right now, MaxPax is actually pretty vulnerable. If ShoWTimE were to attack right now, he could snowball and maybe just straight up kill MaxPax just because he's slowing down Phoenix production, but we'll see if he can get away with it. And here we go. Phoenixes are moving out. They're going to be sharking around. I believe the first carrier has arrived. +1 range is pretty comparable between both players. Carrier production now commencing for ShoWTimE. He is one step behind in carriers, and even though he has a Phoenix lead, he wasn't able to make use of it. So we have that first carrier. We even have a sentry on the low ground for some Guardian Shield, I imagine. More shield batteries are on the way. We have a forge for cannons. Oh! ShoWTimE losing one Phoenix already. Wasn't quite looking. Yeah, another Phoenix goes down. ShoWTimE bleeding out a little bit too much. There is that overcharge. Is going to keep some of those Phoenixes alive, just barely. As he was able to pull out of range. But with this carrier, I don't know. As MaxPax is running out of interceptors. Keeping it onto the units tab for the time being. Carrier has arrived for ShoWTimE. Oof. And MaxPax is being forced back. ShoWTimE, of course, does have a more forward base. With this forward location, you can maybe try to leave forward. There we go. Cannons are now on the way. That will help here to support the SkyToss army. Yeah, more cannons on the way. And we have survived the early to mid game. We're getting to the point where stack defense, SkyToss, cannons, and shield batteries. That's what we're going to be seeing here from both players. Oof. Another good start here for ShoWTimE once again. Taking down a lot of those Phoenixes. He gets the carrier. Yeah, and ShoWTimE still up a Phoenix, now up a carrier. Up 2 carriers even, Jesus. And MaxPax is going to have to back off, lick his wounds, try to recover. MaxPax maybe just a little bit too assertive, maybe a little bit too aggressive. Only just now getting his own forge, so his cannons are going to be delayed. It does create a window of opportunity for ShoWTimE where he can push in, and the defensive advantage of MaxPax is that much weaker. Oof. Yeah, Jesus, as ShoWTimE has taken a massive lead. Looking at the units tab here, ShoWTimE is up to 28 Phoenixes compared to the 21 of MaxPax. At this point, I think ShoWTimE can just A-move. I think he just push in. I think it may just be too much. I love it. You do see him bringing out those interceptors by attacking the rocks. Yeah, he's bullying his way forward. He's getting on top of the production. Pylon about to go down. MaxPax, he has to fight. He has to push in. Yeah, carriers will be falling. ShoWTimE up to 33 Phoenixes. Jesus. Yeah, and it's just too much. It's just too much. MaxPax being forced back, loses all of his carriers down to only 15. Now, ShoWTimE won't be able to break the natural, at least. Because he lost his carrier, he actually can't kill the pylons. He can't depower anything. He's gonna have to back off. Remax. Rebuild. Still flexing that army supply lead. And at this point, I think it's just snowballed out of control. Good shuffling of some of those Phoenixes, but yeah, MaxPax, he's just being bullied back. We do have the overcharge that will help. Ugh. But only so much, as he just doesn't have a high enough Phoenix count at this point. Yeah, it's just snowballing out of control. MaxPax on the run. Trading relatively, like, doing the best he can with what he has, as he's losing every single Phoenix. And next is going to be his economy. Oh boy. As no, yeah, we just camp the production at this point. True, we can just camp the production, sit on top of the Stargates, and kill anything that comes out. Likewise, MaxPax, he's catching some of the reinforcements. He's doing what he can with what he has. Oof. But yeah, I don't think ShoWTimE is gonna ever throw away this lead. GG gets called, and ShoWTimE will take game number 3, taking the series 2-1, taking down MaxPax. GG. Ooh. GG, well played. A pretty interesting PvP. A pretty interesting PvP as we are heading over to, I believe, the American server here for our next matchup. But again, so every single game was a gate expand, and because both players were denied their naturals every single time, they were forced into Stargates, and because they scattered each other, if you go for an Oracle, you're just behind. So they had to go into Phoenix production, as we saw in game 2, when Trigger tried to deviate and go into Oracles and was just behind immediately. So Phoenix Wars were forced, and it's one of those things where if you ever stop Phoenix production, then you just die. It's a very brutal way to play out PvP, very unforgiving. Unlike some of the other matchups, there aren't really any comeback mechanics. I think that's the worst thing. I think that's the worst thing about Phoenix Wars, is that you are forced to make nothing but Phoenixes, and if you like, there's no like Skytoss version of like a disruptor or DTs or anything else, right? So you can't really deviate from that, and yeah, once you get behind, you're just dead. Like it's just really hard to come back, really hard, just because of the nature of that matchup. Regardless, GG, well played. Congratulations to ShoWTimE as he does take the series, and we are getting ready for our next one. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have Gumiho versus Trigger. See you soon.